driven every different Kona, haven't we?
Yep.
Just about.
We have actually. We've driven the mid-spec all-wheel drive, the top-spec all-wheel drive, and now the entry-level 2-litre.
So they come in 2-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
Yep.
And 1.6 turbo and a 2-litre non-turbo. Do you remember the specs?
2-litre turbo was a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission.
Yep.
Only available on the all-wheel drive.
Yep.
I can't remember the exact figures, but a very, very flat torque curve from about 1,500 revs to about 3,500 revs.
It was about 4,500, I thought,
Was it?
Could
Could be.
Something like that.
Yeah. And the 2-litre is in 2-wheel drive.
2-wheel drive, right.
Yes.
And the trim levels are active.
Yep.
Active with the safety suite.
Yep.
Which was an extra $1,500, right?
Yes.
Then we had Elite.
Yep.
And Highlander.
Highlander, yes.
Now, when we were talking to the designer, he was telling us about all the different things that he put into the dash and so forth. But all of that's the same in all trim levels, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's more about just the look and feel of it, I guess, than anything else, and a bit more functionality.
So we've gone over bitumen, and the dirt road, I tell you what, that was in that all-wheel drive, pretty smooth.
Yeah, look, it was actually pretty smooth, reasonably quiet, a little bit of road noise, but and the suspension was fairly compliant. Did bottom out a few times.
Yeah, well, the thing was on the road bit earlier on, we were really hiking it through some of those back roads.
Yeah.
And there were the dips. Sort of you go in and it did sort of bottom out in that, but it wasn't unpleasant though, was it? I mean,
look, and horses for courses, considering the rest of the market, it was no better, no worse. In fact, better than a lot of them, and certainly no worse than a lot of them.
So you're going to put this in Car of the Year, right?
I am. This is the 1.6 litre turbo all-wheel drive Highlander. Is nominated for the SUV under $45,000 category.
Right, now so the price ranges, it started at about 28 and went to 36,
37 something, plus on roads.
Plus on roads. So that'll take it up to about 40,000, right?
Yeah, about 40,000 I'd say.
Right, and what do you think of the looks?
I actually really like them.
You like that double headlight look?
I don't really specifically identify that, but I think the overall look is quite nice. You look at it and you think it's not overly angular like Toyota CHR.
Yeah.
It's got some nice defined lines through it, but it's not sort of quite as bland as maybe CX-3, Mazda CX-3.
So, like, do you mean not as polarising? You know, like the looks?
As the CHR, it's very polarising.
Yeah.
I think it's a design that will actually age well.
It's very deceptive. I just looked down at the speedo then, and in this zone we were doing 110, and it felt like we were doing about 70.
Yeah, and in fact, I actually thought there would have been more difference between the 1.6 and the 2-litre in terms of looking at the specs.
Yeah.
But in terms of driving it, well, you're actually driving it, but it doesn't feel as there's as much difference as I anticipated.
Well, there's not, but of course also one's all-wheel drive and one's two-wheel drive, so it's not just the engine.
Yeah.
As well, we had the difference in the drivetrains.
Yeah.
I did notice a couple of trim things missing, like level things. So, for example, I had to start with this with a key. A key. I'd take it out and show you, but the bloody car would stop. A key.
Yes.
When was the last time you saw a key?
Yeah, it's
bloody hell.
Yeah, no, but again, it's all price, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, it still starts, doesn't it?
Well,
it still starts, and you still unlock it with a button, the fob.
Yeah.
And you're paying the extra for the push button.
But a bloody key.
You're just a bit lazy and a bit princessy.
No, here's the thing. We get a different car or two every week. And the last time I had to put a key in a lock was during the Whitlam administration. Now, a lot of people wouldn't believe that.
But you don't have to put it in the lock. It still opens.
Yeah, you've got to put it in this lock.
Yeah, you've got to put it in the starting point.
That's a lock.
Well, yeah, but I mean, a number of the utes, the entry-level utes, have key start.
A key?
Absolutely.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, the two-door work utes all have key starts.
Well, that thing that I drove, that oh Jesus, Mary and Joseph, you know that.
The Land Cruiser.
Oh, Godfather. So
I'm going to buy one of those Christmas money.
God, I'd seen it nail my eyelids to the deck.
Yes.
There was really nothing about this. I mean, we like to find something good and something bad to say about every car we review. And the thing is, I couldn't think of anything really bad to say. I would have picked out CVT if this had a CVT, but it doesn't. It's either got a 6-speed auto or a 7-speed dual clutch.
Yeah. Look, I think if you really are picky about a few things, I would say to some of the tiny little things, like it is a nice design in interior, but it is a little bit plasticky, especially in the entry level, but that's sort of indicative of the market as well.
Well, that's why I asked Kevin, the designer, did he have any choice in the material?
Yeah.
And he said it had to go for a final sign-off.
It's all costing.
But at the end of the day, it's a cost. Yeah. So the bean counters, which is why I asked him, if he had any budget, if he could have any budget, and he said, well, that's a different kettle of fish,
Yeah.
I was amazed at some of his, at some of the things that go into making a car. I particularly like the floating tablet.
Yeah, see, and again, that looks good, but again, a little bit plasticky, although it is nice in terms of the touch feel.
Of the unit itself, but not of the buttons. That's a bit...
Yeah, that's a bit plasticky. Dave and I sat in the back earlier, and there was no air conditioning vents in the rear.
Now, do you think that makes a really big difference in a car that size? Were you hot in the back?
No.
Because once upon a time, there weren't no cars had air conditioning vents in the back unless it was a limo.
True, but they also didn't have airbags and stuff like that. Just because they didn't have it doesn't mean it's not a good thing to have. No, that's true. Yeah.
But you pointed out it's for a price, so...
It is for a price, but again, some of their competitors do have air vents in the back, like the CX-3 and the XV.
Yeah. Do you like the CX-3?
I don't dislike it. I don't like it. I don't mind it. It's actually not a bad vehicle. It's well built and it goes well, and the Sky Active motor is actually really good.
Yeah.
It's just just doesn't have a lot of character.
So they pointed out at the briefing that the SUV market is still on the rise. So it's about is it about 40% of the market at the moment?
Yep.
And if you add in LCVs, that's more than 50% of the market.
Yep.
And that's not including, and that's passenger vehicles, or is that all vehicles?
That's all vehicles.
That's all vehicles.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So that includes trucks and buses. And, yeah. What do you think? Where have we gotten this love affair with SUVs from?
I think the fact that you can buy a 2-wheel drive SUV says that it's more about the aspirational or adventurous lifestyle that they want. It's more about having the space and more of an upright sitting position.
Yeah.
You're sitting a bit higher, maybe the look of it. Because in some instances they're selling as many 2-wheel drives as they are all-wheel drive SUVs.
There was about 120 kilo difference between the all-wheel drive and the front-wheel drive.
But if you want the benefit of all-wheel drive, people won't worry about that. It's only if they never think they're going to use it, they'll say, I don't need that.
And the 1.6 is about, 130 kilowatts, did you say?
I honestly can't remember off the top of my head.
No, I can't remember.
No, I really can't remember. We'll edit that in later.
We'll
put a scroll
We'll put a scroll up,
yes.
At the end. Not the beginning, at the end.
No, we'll put it as we're talking now.
Ooh, can we do that?
Yes,
So just follow that.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah. I can't remember what it was.
Just
look there. Just look there. That will tell you where it is.
Oh, and that'll also tell you where to subscribe.
Yes. No, we subscribe at the end.
Oh,
actually, that's what we should do.
Yeah.
Ready? Break. We should do don't forget to subscribe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah. Now look.
Sorry.
Okay. We'll be serious now. Okay, ready? Now, you've enjoyed our video. Don't forget to tell your friends and...
subscribe.
Yay! Okay, that looks really dicky, but it'll work. And you should put that whole thing in.
Yeah. I might even put the outtakes in, you never know. So, is there anything else we need to say?
Not really. Let me talk for the sake of talking.